You're the best friend I've ever had. You know that, right?
You're the best friend I've ever had. You know that, right?
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we are talking about the Yellowjackets season 1 finale, and wow, what an episode. So I just want to say, if you haven't seen the finale, spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. I actually don't think you would be able to follow this video if you hadn't seen it, because it was batshit crazy in the best possible way. So make sure that you've seen the episode. If you haven't, go watch it, come back, and let's talk about absolutely everything in this episode. Very quickly, make sure you subscribe to the channel and also follow me on social media, because Showtime shows, I do cover when they're filming, when they're coming back, what's happening on set when they're filming. I have some good contacts at Showtime, so I do keep everybody up to date in between the airings. So make sure that you have your notifications turned on, and also all my social medias are linked down below so you don't miss out on any information or when the show is coming back. So there was so much in this episode that I'm going to try and keep it as organized as I possibly can, but this was just such an amazing episode. This honestly was one of the best season 1 finales of any show I've seen in a very long time. I was gripped. I didn't know where we were going, what was happening, and there's so many things that made it brilliant. And there was a lot of things that we were right about. And that is that I think we are going to see another returning survivor adult in the season 1 finale. A big reveal that they still are alive, being like Lottie. There isn't just one group, but I do think there will be someone not making it out of this finale. 2 groups. So as I said, I think that we may start to see the very beginning of that in the finale down the line. Maybe even we could get a flashback to the first snow or the first winter. I think we shall see the demise of another character in the 90s time thing, and it was in the snow, so the whole Jackie thing. So we called a lot of this stuff, and I mean a lot. There was one thing that I was pretty sure was going to happen that didn't. I thought that someone was going to be at the reunion, so we did get another adult confirmation. I have been pretty adamant that I didn't think Lottie was dead, even though when Shauna Googled herself, we did get that little like crash settlement thing that said Lottie was one of the people, but I didn't think so. So we had that kind of confirmed, and a lot of other shit went off in this episode. So trying to break it down, I'm going to try and go through the characters, but there's a lot of intersecting. So Misty, I'm going to start out with. I loved her like spouting that 12% of people get caught buying cleaning supplies.
Why didn't we just go to the store?
Because 12% of all killers are caught buying cleaning supplies. Also, regular bleach leaves behind hemoglobin for the luminol test.
And I also loved how all season they didn't actually have the 4 adults in the same room together. We got close, but they saved it for the finale.
Wow, aren't we a bunch of gloomy gusses? Who died?
And them coming together, the 4 of them, to first dispose of Adam and then go to the reunion. Like, I see why they did that. It was great to have them all together, and I loved it, especially when they like came into the reunion and stuff. And there was a lot of attention to detail galore, but there was also just really great little decisions, like how they said, oh, Nat was going because she promised Misty, and she's like, keeps her word. It's establishing like things with the characters, but also it makes it more believable for the audience, because obviously they all have their reasons for going, like Shauna because of Jeff, Misty because she actually wants to, Ty because it's good for appearances, and then Nat, it did make sense because I can't imagine Nat like wanting to go to the reunion. This is a copyrighted song. This is a copyrighted song. So you're not going to hear any of it because it's a copyrighted song. I was pretty sure that, I mean, I'm sure everyone was, that Misty was not going to let, the fixer get away. So when she was getting in the car, I did have this split second where I was like, oh, like, the old fashioned how you light a cigarette. I thought it was going to be something like that and then the car was going to blow up. But then I thought, that's kind of silly, because if the car blew up like right in front of Misty's house, that wouldn't be too great. But I loved how they kind of were trying to make you think that, the way they were like, oh, she filled the gas tank and topped up the wiper fluid. But in reality, it's the subtle little cigarette packet that she'd already thrown away. So how could it possibly be the cigarettes? And I loved too the way she was like, these will kill you.
Okay, fine. I threw them out, but it's a disgusting habit. Do you have any idea how bad those things are for you?
Yeah, that's why I do it.
But Christina Ricci, please, Emmy nomination, Golden Globe, whatever, she absolutely deserves it for the show. So Ty, I don't know what to think about Ty. It's crazy. So Simone, I don't know why you were crawling around in a freaking Chanel into the secret, compartment in your house that's there for a ritual sacrifice. But yeah, I thought that was like a great reveal, because at first I was like, oh, maybe it's the torso that she hasn't like had a chance to dispose of, now. And whenever, I mean, we've all been thinking like, we know she's done something with this dog all season. So there's things like that they didn't forget about. Like it was, they actively were going somewhere. And I just love so much of the writing on this show, because it's just brilliant. Like there's so much, foreshadowing and things like that, and lining things up that matter way down the road. So that was crazy. I mean, I'm kind of thinking Ty surely can't know what she's doing. I know they were kind of doing maybe a misdirect with like the smile at the end. But there's just too many things that I think is showing us that Ty doesn't realize what she's doing. Like when she woke up in the tree and was like washing her hands, like she was alone. She wasn't putting on that terrified act for anyone. And then telling Shauna too, it just, I don't think Ty knows what she's doing. I hope anyway. So the big thing that happened, Jackie and Shauna, I did think that, there was going to be someone in the 90s that didn't make it out alive. I also did think that this snow uncovering was Jackie, because it kind of like you can see it's the blanket a little bit, but I wasn't totally sure it was going to happen now. I thought maybe they might do it in the second season, because in a way I kind of have been expecting Jackie not to make it out of the first season. I know this sounds strange, but this show just gives me the vibes of like Buffy and some other shows where it's kind of been the big shock to kill off a main character. And it's just the fact that Jackie has really been at the forefront. Like she's on all the posters, things like that I just have always had this little inkling in the back of my mind that I thought, she might not make it. But I still was really surprised. And I think the whole way they did it with like the dream sequence, I'll put a clip in so you can see, but they're using the same dialogue from the first episode where they're at that party and Jackie lines them all up and they're all supposed to say like a nice thing about each other. And then when Shauna and she have that conversation about you're my best friend and all that. So I just thought that was a great, kind of, I always use this with the L word, but the bookend of the first episode and the end. and I think they did that really well.
You're the best friend I've ever had. You know that, right?
You're the best friend I've ever had. You know that, right?
The guy that's in the credits, I think it was the guy who owns the cabin or died in the cabin. Not sure, maybe in the future it could be someone else. That's what I think, but if you guys think it's someone else, let me know down in the comment section. I do think this puts us really, really firmly on the road to batshit craziness, because Jackie was that kind of anchor to reality. She was the one who really didn't believe this stuff. I know Ty is like that too, but Ty has shown in this episode she's willing to kind of go along with it for Van. So Jackie was the one who really, she didn't say the thing and all that. So I think now that Jackie is gone, that they're really, you can totally, I mean, I'm sure everybody can totally see how we're going to get to this craziness. We're having Lottie's thoughts and things she says being validated, and then she really has that loyalty with Misty and Van, as we saw at the end. So it's gonna get really, I think we're ramping up to crazy town, that's for sure. So right at the end, we see Lottie putting the bear's heart by the tree stump with Van and Misty. And Lottie speaks in French. She says, "Spill the blood, my beautiful friends." And we've had this word spill really coming back a lot this season. And it did in the finale. They're talking about the spilling of the blood for Biscuit and for, what we saw with Lottie. And I'm sure there are other reasoning too. So it'll be really interesting how all this ties in. Was there a sacrifice, a spilling of blood to get them out of the forest? And is there something more to this? Was it Nat that did something? Because we know that Nat is the reason that they're there and they're alive. We don't exactly know what she did, but there's something all tied in with all of this. We did, of course, I can't not talk about the end and Nat being dragged off by what appears to be like Lottie's cult, I think. So the guy had the necklace on with the little mark we've been seeing all season. And I mean, I'm sure that these are just supposed to be like extra like stand-in people, because a lot of shows, what they do, if it's a very split second, character on screen like this where you're not seeing even their face, they'll just have someone fill in, and then they'll properly cast the roles the next season, because obviously they're going on hiatus. So maybe these are just like anonymous henchmen and it doesn't matter anyway, but I will be interested to see what the hell is going on, because we do have the voiceover of Susie saying that who the fuck is Lottie Matthews?
I dug into Travis's bank account and found out who emptied it. I think someone's following me. Who the fuck is Lottie Matthews?
And what is happening? What is happening? It definitely, there's so many things that we can speculate and theorize about, because that's one of the fun parts of this show. That's why I really enjoy doing these videos and stuff. So I definitely think that there's some sort of cult going on, because Lottie, surely she didn't realize her name was going to be released with like, she didn't know Natalie was going to go to her friend and get her friend to illegally look into what happened. So I don't think it's someone like operating as Lottie or using her alias. I mean, it definitely is a possibility. Like, all things are possible on this show, but I do think that Lottie is alive, that it's Lottie running this stuff. And as I said, I think now with Jackie gone, and Ty obviously showing that she's willing to kind of bend for Van, that it is showing that we really have entered Crazy Town. And who knows whether there is this supernatural stuff going on, or whether it is really Lottie, and we know that she does have schizophrenia, and everybody's kind of validating her. I don't even know what to say. Like, they're kind of making things fit when really it's just coincidence. And I think that's a whole part of the show. Like, is there just things happening randomly, or is there all this intention behind it? And I think that it's certainly going to be really interesting now that we have this other group, who the symbol people. I wonder what name we can give them, but there is so much going on. I am so interested to see what happens next season. I mean, no wonder Shauna feels guilty.
No, Jackie! Please, no!
And then that scene with Nat before she got kidnapped was just... the writing on the show is phenomenal, and also the performances are just brilliant. Like, absolutely top class from everyone. And I cannot wait to see what happens next season. But we'll, of course, get more theories going. But let me know, what did you think of the season 1 finale of Yellowjackets? Are you excited for season 2? Make sure that you are following me on social media and subscribed here so that we can keep you up to date with everything that's going on, and of course when the show will be back as soon as we hear anything. So make sure that you let me know all your crazy theories down in the comment section. And also, if you have a chance, check out my Patreon, my merch store. As I said, follow me on social media and subscribe here. Thank you so much to everyone who has subscribed for Yellowjackets. I hope you'll stick around for the other shows that I cover. And as always, make sure to stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.